Everybody, I want to thank you for coming here. It's an honor to see all you guys here. I'm really glad that you could come. But I wanted to make one thing clear. We are here for a reason. What is that reason?
Justice!
Justice! Justice for who?
Trayvon!
When?
Now!
Justice for who?
Trayvon!
Thank you. That's what I thought. Again, this is part of a national movement called upon Reverend Al Sharpton and the NAN to do what?
Justice! Trayvon!
How are we going to do this? We're going to do this through a specific action. What is the specific action? It is a call upon the Department of Justice, to pursue criminal charges against George Zimmerman on the basis that he, the night that he killed Trayvon Martin, was most egregiously violating his civil rights. His civil rights to go home without being accosted, like a criminal, like a social deviant. And then his right to life, which he ended. He ended with a gun. He ended.
Right.
He murdered a boy.
Yes. What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
No!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
No!
That's what I thought. So, on Monday, what's going to happen? We are going to push the Department of Justice to do exactly what I said. To pursue charges against George Zimmerman on the basis that he was violating Trayvon Martin's right to life, right to pursue what he wanted to pursue without being treated like a deviant, like a criminal on the basis that he's black, or that he's wearing clothes that may not befit someone of George Zimmerman's stature. Who knows?
I've got a hoodie on. Does that make me a criminal?
No, and it shouldn't. What do we want?
Justice!
Who do we want it for?
Trayvon!
What do we want?
Justice!
Who do we want it for?
Trayvon!
When do we want it?
Now!
That's right. Thank you. So, what we're going to do, as I said, Monday, call the Department of Justice. I have their phone number. I will read it to you right now. I will read it to you again. Couple minutes. Again and again and again. I will wait for you to pull out your phones. I'm nice. It's okay. I'm going to stare at you guys who are not pulling out your phones. I'm going to make it real awkward for you. This is not some abstract protest. Just making society uncomfortable, just making George Zimmerman uncomfortable. We want something specific. We want him behind bars.
Yeah!
We want him behind bars. Woo! We don't want an apology.
No!
I don't like an apology. That's not right. We would like an apology. But we want him in jail. That's what justice is.
Right, put the handcuffs on him. Put him in
Handcuffs.
jail for murder.
He is a murderer. You guys got out your phones?
You switch that around. Trayvon would be in jail right now if he would have killed that white guy.
You got out your phones? Okay, put this in your phones. It is area code 202-514-4609. And you're going to wait for about 2 minutes while they give you a bunch of options. What you're going to do is you're going to press 3. You're going to press 3 in those options. File civil rights claim against George Zimmerman on the basis that he was violating the right for Trayvon Martin to go home, to live, to be free, to love, to grow old, to have an education, to have children, to have loved ones. This is what George Zimmerman is guilty of. This is what we are going to put him in prison for.
Right.
Yeah!
Put him in prison.
What do we want?
Justice!
Who do we want it for?
Trayvon!
When?
Now!
Who do we want?
Justice!
Who do we want it for?
Trayvon!
When do we want it?
Now!
When?
Now!
When?
Now!
When? That's right. Thank you. We're going to have a couple speakers, starting with a good friend of mine.
Members of the media, my name is Oz Balfour, and today I represent Reverend Al Sharpton. You guys know who he is? Reverend Sharpton called earlier this week for 100 cities, the people therein, to occupy their federal building. And we're here in Salt Lake City to occupy our federal building. Now, I know for a certainty that there was already an event planned in Salt Lake before Reverend Al asked for a unified show. So we were with the program already. Now, we believe that what happened when Trayvon Martin was shot, it really created a flashpoint. People were already fed up, weren't you? Yeah. People were already fed up. So this isn't necessarily about Trayvon Martin, but it's symptomatic of a problem that we have in America that we just don't like to talk about. Can I get an amen? Amen. Okay, we just don't like to talk about it. In fact, we think it's impolite to talk about race in America when so much of America has been about race. Okay? Yeah. So, we're not talking about race in a negative sense, but nearly all of us got biracial people in our family.
Right.
Yeah. In fact, we got a biracial president. He's not the black president of anything. Okay? He's calling what he is. To say he's black is to say if you got 1 ounce of black in you, you couldn't be white. That's what they used to say. Yeah. The man is half and half, and furthermore, he was raised by the white side of his family. Okay? But that's a whole different discussion, right? That is for the genealogists to discuss, okay? We're just here to talk about justice and to really not talk about it in sort of an academic sense. And as such, a movement that has been in the making for quite some time, called Justice by Objectives, is now taking this flashpoint to do something. Because when we come out here, people should know, well, people always ask, so what next? So what are you gonna do? You know, and they don't say that in kind of a friendly way. That's what they said about Occupy. Well, they didn't know what they wanted. They wanted to occupy. That's what they wanted to do. And guess what? They're all gone. Because there was a concerted effort in this country, while we love to see people in Egypt occupy their town square, in this country, you know what? We get our tolerance get a little low at a point. It's like we've given you guys enough. And they spray down students at Berkeley while they were sitting on the sidewalk.
Gassed them, tear gassed them, and everything.
Well, you know what? We've gone to war with countries for doing less than that.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm just saying. Yeah. I'm just saying.
Preach it. The truth.
So, oh boy. Yeah.
What's your name?
I'm Oz Balfour.
Can you spell that out for us?
O-Z-W-A-L-D.
Do you have a title?
B-A-L-F-O-U-R. How about Citizen-in-Chief? Hey man, I'm just a citizen as all of these people are. And I think that a lot of times we don't need to be knighted by anybody to do the right thing. So I'm just here, okay? And there are other people who need to speak and a program to take place. But I'm just here to tell you that action is being taken. This march today, this assemblage is a call to action so that people can do something. And the 4 things that a group of concerned citizens thought can happen is that we need to watch the watchers. Here's what that means. We hire people to watch over us, like police officers and judges and so on. That's their job. And then all of a sudden they get out of hand, including even neighborhood watches, and start shooting people. And it isn't a black thing or a white thing, because we had a guy in Harriman here who's crippled because some lunatic just shot him in the neighborhood. So Trayvon Martin is just a flashpoint. I want to bring that up. Okay. The next thing that we want to do is to have a national registry of impersonators of law enforcement officers. Here, that's why it's important. There's a lot of people that like to be law enforcement. This man here served in the military, served for his country. And there's some people who can't even make that grade, but they want to have a gun. So they start a neighborhood watch. We got to watch out for that. That can't happen. This is America. And some of these people are loony. But we...
Like Zimmerman.
He's not the only one, okay?
I know he's not.
The next thing we want to do is to have a national daily recorder of hate crimes. Do you know that hate crimes happen on like a daily basis? And they don't keep statistics of that very well. So we want to have a registry where if you suspect, go ahead and post it up. Because if 10 people say the same establishment or the same person or the same teacher, we might have a problem that we could prevent a Zimmerman type situation. That's what I'm saying. And then the fourth thing is really interesting. We want to eradicate the psychology of hate. Say that with me. Eradicate the psychology of hate. Again.
Eradicate the psychology of hate.
Now, if we can do these and other things that people would have to do, maybe Trayvon Martin's death would not be in vain. I thank you.
Thank you.
What do we do when racist attack?
Stand up, fight back!
What do we do when racist attack?
Stand up, fight back!
What do we do when racist attack?
Stand up, fight back!
What do we do when racist attack?
Stand up, fight back!
What do we do when racist attack?
Stand up, fight back!
What do we do when racist attack?
Stand up, fight back!
What do we do when racist attack?
Stand up, fight back!
What do we do when racist attack?
Stand up, fight back!
What do I do when racist attack?
Stand up, fight back!
What do I do when racist attack?
Stand up, fight back!
What do I want? What do
Justice!
we want?
Now! Now!
Right, hi everybody. Thanks to Ian and all the people organizing this event. It's great to be here. Just have a few words reading here and some thoughts that I want to share with all of you.
Okay.
First, I want to say justice for Trayvon.
Yes.
And something really important. Let it be known that on that day, a few days ago, Saturday, July 30, 2013, it was still being legal in the U.S. to chase and shoot dead an unarmed young black man on his way home from the store because people didn't like the look of him because of his color.
That's right.
My question is, and I have a few questions, is how Zimmerman walked away free when a person got murdered, a kid, a teenager? How Zimmerman walks away free when another person, a black woman in the state of Florida, Marissa Alexander, is sentenced for 20 years in prison just for firing one shot into the wall of her kitchen because he was scared and she tried to scare away her abusive husband. How a person that do that go to jail for 20 years?
Right on.
How Zimmerman walks away also when another person, a black trans woman person, Cecil McDonald, goes to jail also for defend and protect herself against the person who was assaulting her and a racist, homophobic, transphobic piece of shit.
Yes, yes.
Okay, and also how Zimmerman walks away free when in the border of this country, a person, a Mexican worker, Anastasio Rojas, was killed, was
tasered and was beaten to death by the Border Patrol just because he was undocumented and just because he wants to get back to this country so he can be with his family.
So it's not about that, it's about what people do, and I'm living into that.
What is justice for Trayvon Martin? And let me tell you this, there is no justice in this stolen land.
No.
It's never been justice for people like Trayvon,
No.
for people like me, for indigenous people.
Guess what?
Right.
1995 OJ, 2000 Zimmerman.
And something I want to share with all of you, over the years that I was living in this country, because I know from this country, I came from South America. It's been a lot of years. I noticed that people have also three reactions when they see the headlines in the news. You know, the majority of people ask themselves, you know, would they have been a black or brown person when they read the news? Now, the so-called colorblind, the ones that don't see races, they always say to themselves, God, I hope, and don't let it be a black or brown person.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Now, the majority, and I'm talking about all the racist people in this country,
Yes.
the reaction is really simple. Oh, for sure, that was a black or a brown person who did it.
Oh, sure.
You know?
Yes.
Only after all of that happened, just a few people ask themselves, you know, about the crime or about what happened, you know, about the tragedy or what about the murder.
Get involved.
Only a few people ask themselves, maybe it was a white person. You know, and why? You know, why these things happening?
Why?
Because this is a racist society.
It is.
They want us to believe that race is not an issue anymore in this country.
Yeah.
And we can all hold hands, you know, and sing Kumbaya and be happy again, you know.
Right.
But that's not the truth.
That's not the truth.
Also, I want you all to know that for me, you know, racism is really predictable. You know, I experience every day in this country for the way that I look, for my accent, because I have a strong accent. Every time that I go to like apply for a job, or every time I'm going to the street, you know, during the night, you know, I see racism is still like thriving and alive in this country.
Sure.
But also, you know, what is like really important for me to realize, you know, also, like I know something that is really predictable. When people say that that isn't racism, when racism is not a problem, that's really predictable. I just want to like talk to the white people here, you know, because there is like a few white people, and this is really important for me coming from a colored man. It's the duty of white people to go to your schools, go to your churches, go to your communities, go to your neighborhoods, talk to your friends and to relatives. You know, start fighting white supremacy, start fighting racism. You know, people of color, black people are not going to do it for you. You have to do it for yourself. You have to educate yourself and educate your peers, you know, about these issues. You know, and only after that, you know, help and kill white supremacy.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and how you going to do it, you know, supporting national liberation movements all over the land, you know, indigenous people right now fighting for their rights, black people doing the same thing, you know, brown people, undocumented people fighting for the right to be in this country.
Right.
Also, you know, supporting like anti-police brutality movements, anti-racism movements that's happening, you know, right now all over the country.
It is.
All right. That's it. Thanks,
There is no justice in this country, it's just us. So what we can do as a people, and I have like there is a lot of things that we can do, but I want to say a few things, you know, be clear, be inspired, organize, defend yourself, protect one another, because you know what, at the end, we are all we got, you know. We are the ones who are going to bring justice to this society. We're going to be the ones who are going to rebuild this society, you know. And I want to honor the life of Trayvon Martin today. but I want to honor the life of so many more that are not in the news anymore.
Jordan Davis.
You know, Jordan Davis, you know, Oscar Grant,
Yes.
you know, Kimani in New York, you know, Rekia, you know, the
So many
7-year-old
to mention.
little black girl, Ajana Stevens, who was killed by that police on a raid in the wrong house.
Right.
You know, police looking for drugs on her house, shooting in the head by a cop. You know, this is the kind of justice, you know, that exists in this country. When 7-year-old little kids of color are being murdered every single day, and when a teenager is being murdered and they're assessing the killer goes away, you know, walk away free without any repercussion for the kind of crime that he committed. You know, and now we have the president going on the news, you know, and sobbing and crying about like this murder, you know. I just want to say, you know, like what he's gonna do for that, what he's gonna do for his community, what he's gonna do for other colored people. You know, it's just talks, because that always happens in this country. We talk, and talk, but nothing change.
No, look at the
You know?
NRA. Look at guns. We can't do a damn thing about that either.
So I'm glad that all you're here, and I'm glad that you're supporting this, but you know what are we gonna do after this? And that's the question. What are we gonna do after this? You know?
Call on Monday.
What's that?
Call on Monday.
Yeah, we need to build something, but this something is not gonna be in 1 day or 1 month, you know? It will take time, it will take effort, it will take all of us to come together, you know, and see our own issues, see our own privilege, and see our own like ways to help, you know? I just want to like finish with the word of amazing person, you know, a person that for me was a great influence. I'm talking about Malcolm X. You know, when he was talking about defending himself and protect his community, he said something really important, by any means necessary. What does that mean, you know? It's up to you to realize by any means necessary. What does that mean? You know, for me, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna let that happen, you know? I'm gonna stand up as a person, you know, and I'm gonna fight for my rights, you know? Because I have rights in this country, you know?
People's rights.
So thank you. Also, I want to finish not saying rest in peace Trayvon Martin, because there is no peace if there is no justice.
Yeah!
But I want to say rest in power Trayvon Martin.
No justice, no peace. 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 No justice, police. No justice, no peace.
Yes, as he said, white supremacy is alive in America. Racism is alive. It is active. White supremacy, racism, stalked Trayvon Martin that night. It stalked him. It accosted him. It murdered him. It murdered him. But again, that racism had a face. It had a name. It's not some abstract form. His name was George Zimmerman, and he's out. And he was acquitted. And he needs to be put in jail where he belongs. How is that going to happen? We are going to push the Department of Justice. We are going to force them. We are going to force them to pursue charges against George Zimmerman.
Yes.
We are going to force them to put him in jail. When I was organizing this, with the help of several other people, I got a few, when I say a few, I got a lot. I got a lot of emails, I got a lot of phone calls from people all over the country saying thank you. Saying thank you, because people all over the country are doing just what we're doing. Just what we're doing. Rallying today, rallying yesterday, rallying the day before, occupying capitals, occupying federal buildings, calling for what?
Justice! Trayvon!
Yes! When?
No!
When?
No!
When?
No!
Justice for Trayvon!
Justice for Trayvon!
No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
Yes! So what we're going to do is on Monday, we're going to assault the Department of Justice with phone calls. Every one of you, all of your friends, all of your families, anyone you can is going to call the Department of Justice. What was the phone number? I'm going to read it again just in case some of you guys are new or didn't pull out your phones or didn't record it or didn't think I was serious. I'm going to say it again. The phone number is... I got it right here. I didn't lose it. Don't worry. It is 202-514-4609. Then we're going to tell them to do something. What are we going to tell them?
Justice for Trayvon!
Justice for who?
Trayvon!
Justice for who?
Trayvon!
Justice for who?
Trayvon!
Justice for Trayvon. That is what we're going to tell them. It's what they're going to demand. It's what they are going to do. Why are they going to do it? Because we're not going to stop. We're not going to rest. We're not going to breathe until he's behind bars, where racist aggressors belong.
Where child murderers belong!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
No!
What do we want it for?
Trayvon!
Justice for Trayvon. Thank you. We're going to have another speaker from the ACLU, Anna Brower. Hi. So glad you come out and
Okay, I don't know if I need this, I'm pretty loud already, but for those of you poor, sweaty, hot people in the back, I'll use it. Well, my name is Anna Brower, I'm the Development Director at the ACLU of Utah. Thank you to Ian for inviting us to be a part of this action, and thank you all for being here. I'm so happy to see even all this group here because it means that you care about the serious racial justice issues that we have in this country. But I'm very sad that we have any reason at all to get together today.
Yes. Yes.
That's why I made notes, because this is a very emotional issue for all of us at the ACLU. We're so saddened by what happened to Trayvon Martin, from the loss of his life last year to the absence of peace and justice for his family and his loved ones now. None of us should even know the name Trayvon Martin. He should be living in obscurity in Florida right now, thinking about what to do with his life after graduating high school, spending time with his friends, listening to music, doing the things that any 18-year-old American kid does. And if Trayvon Martin were white, he might be doing those things right now.
He would!
I think this tragedy struck a chord for so many of us, not just because of the details of this case and because of Trayvon, but we're all here because we know what happened to him was not an aberration. It was not a shockingly rare occurrence. Rather, it's too familiar. It's not rare enough. The profiling of this young man is a dangerous black criminal at every step of this story, as he's walking through a neighborhood where he had every right to be, as he was portrayed to the jury as a big, shirtless, aggressive thug, as the media reported that maybe he'd been in trouble at school, maybe he was a pot smoker, maybe he was angry at the world. Any of those things had anything to do with whether he deserved to be killed last February.
Right.
It's unforgivably typical of what happens to so many people of color in this country, especially young people.
Yes, indeed.
So as we try to make sense of this verdict and ask ourselves what justice really means for people of color in our system, we have to use this opportunity to acknowledge the ways that racial bias plays out in society, and we have to do something about it. In May of this year, Senator Cardin of Maryland introduced the End Racial Profiling Act of 2013, which is the result of 2 decades of work with law enforcement and civil rights leaders. If passed, the act would prohibit the use of profiling on the basis of race, ethnicity, national origin, or religion by law enforcement agencies. It would mandate law enforcement training on racial profiling and would also require that data be collected on all investigatory activities. The act would require that federal funds going to state and local governments be made contingent on their adoption of effective policies that prohibit racial profiling. It would authorize the Department of Justice to give grants to law enforcement agencies for the development and implementation of best practices that discourage profiling. Think about it. It could mean at least a step toward a future with no stop and frisk police actions, no gang injunctions, no mosque surveillance, no show me your papers laws. I urge you all to make support of the End Racial Profiling Act a part of your activism in memory of Trayvon Martin and so many, too many other people of color who have had their lives cut short because they were judged, profiled, and targeted in this way. In this terrible, sad moment for our country, with so many ugly realities about how we don't deal with race bubbling to the surface, there's momentum and attention and concern that must not be lost. And there are several social justice organizations that are supporting this act. You can go to the ACLU's website if you'd like to learn more about it and to take action. So it's true that the End Racial Profiling Act would apply to public servants, law enforcement agents, not private citizens like George Zimmerman. But passing a law to eradicate racial profiling from law enforcement would be a big step towards creating a more just justice system. And people like George Zimmerman, who purport to take their cues from law enforcement, would be getting much better cues. People who serve on juries and journalists who report on racial issues would be getting much better cues. And as a society, through this act, we would be taking a decisive step to make clear that we believe people should be judged by what they do, not the color of their skin.
Yeah!
Racial profiling violates our Constitution, it violates American values, and it violates the civil rights of people like Trayvon Martin. And if we are to prevent more tragedies like what happened to Trayvon, in addition to protesting individual cases like this one, we must challenge the racial biases that undermine our justice system. So I encourage you all, in addition to the actions that you're taking to support Justin for Trayvon Martin and for his family, to educate yourself about the racial justice issues we have in Utah. Young people of color are being singled out for harsh discipline in our public schools. In our schools and in our streets, they're being tagged as gang members. They are seen as destined for the criminal justice system. Rather than being seen as future college students, future business owners, future political figures, future community leaders, anyone with a future at all. I've met people all over this state in my work with the ACLU who have their own stories of being pulled over and having their car searched for no good reason, of being treated by police officers as if they were criminals instead of the victims of a crime, and of being the one kid who got kicked out of class when everyone else got a warning, and of being afraid of having their kids run errands on foot or by car after dark. The people who tell me these stories all come from different racial groups and religious groups, and they're of different political stripes and ethnic backgrounds, but they have one thing in common, I'm sorry to say, it's that they don't look like me. And the truth is, we don't all have the same access to justice. We aren't all treated fairly, and that's wrong. We've come a long way since the early days of when the ACLU started in Utah, when famous African-American singers were forced to take the service elevator when performing at the Hotel Utah, where black people were not rented rooms. But we haven't come nearly far enough, and it's going to take a lot of time and work to realize a state and a nation where we all enjoy the same rights to move freely and without fear in this world.
Yes!
I'm so disturbed by what happened to Trayvon Martin, and I'm so heartsick at times over this tragedy and others like it. But being sad isn't enough, and being mad isn't enough. Leaders like Reverend Sharpton have been working on these issues for a long time. The ACLU's brought hundreds of lawsuits over the years challenging the profile of African Americans, Japanese Americans, Latinos, Muslims, Every generation, there's a new group that's harassed and singled out and deprived of justice and fair treatment. Those of us who wish to be part of the solution need to make a commitment to be in it for the long haul. It's not easy, but it's right. So thank you so much for being here today and for displaying your commitment to racial justice in our country and in our state. And thank you for having me feel benefit.
Justice for Trayvon Martin! 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 No justice, no peace! No justice, no peace! No justice, no peace! No justice, no peace! No justice, no peace!
Hello, everybody. Hello. I remember, I don't know if you guys remember, I remember him and can I have my little sign over here because when I originated the other day when we had our other thing and I said how we all are the people. And I just want to say thank everybody. It's okay, me and Carrie person these days too. Okay. But I want to thank everybody for being here today. And I made sure I was here today too. To make sure that, you know, it's for Trayvon Martin, but you know what? It's for all the children. Yeah. All the children. Yeah. No different what race or what color. It's for all the children. We need today, not tomorrow, but today. We need to get more love into our hearts today. Don't wait for the holidays to show people that we love them. Yeah. Let them know that we love them always and forever. With the good, the bad, and the ugly. Yeah. Because I know I have a lot of people and a lot of families. I do not have any children, but I'm out here fighting for the children. But I have nieces and nephews. And I just want us to let them know that I'm out there trying to make a better world and a better love for all the children and all the people in the world. Yes. It's enough for the hatred. You know, the world today, just imagine if we had love in the world today, we wouldn't really have no problem. We wouldn't be busting and we wouldn't care about money because everybody wouldn't mind help out their neighbors. Because that's what we used to do in the old days. I'm from the country, baby, and we did look out for all our neighbors. Yes. And what you was. And like I was saying before, you know, you might have kids that's on drugs, and I have family members, I might lost a brother to drugs. But you know what? We love them even more, you know. We don't turn our backs on them and kill them and say, because you're on drugs, you're dead. You know, that means that we got to tighten up, buckle up, and love them, and give them the honest love that they deserve when we stay when it's good, bad, and the ugly. Because we love you when it's good, we gotta love you when it's bad. That's right. We always love you when it's all right. But don't never turn on your family. Your families out there need you. They need the love and support. Because there's nobody, if we can't give our loved ones the love and support that they need on those drugs out there, who's gonna give it to them? Don't nobody care about it, about nobody. But you know what? You guys care. You guys care. All you do. And I thank you all for taking out of your time on a beautiful hot day today, you know, out here spending your time, and we could have been someplace else, but you guys are speaking your voices, and you can count on one hand of all, you know, maybe I put two, that how many African American people are here. So this speaks a whole lot to all you people, that the world is changing, because back in the day, most of the audience would be all African American people. And like before, I thank you. Like I said, we are one. And we are one, and we don't care what nobody say. We're gonna stick with one and hold each other up when we fall. Because yes, we all do fall, and these days we falling pretty fast, and our children are falling. And we can't let this happen to our children. No way. We got to stand up. That's right. Let them know we love them. We don't care what race you are. When it's wrong, it's wrong. These kids are falling by the wayside, and it's time for us people to step up and step up and step up and step up and be the people that we need to be and show them some love. Even though people are on drugs or whatever they're on, that don't mean that we got to turn our backs on them. They need us more.
Yes.
They need us more. And then we don't want them to think because you're on drugs, we're going to throw you away like you're nobody and it doesn't count. But you know what? The same nobodies that you're throwing away years ago, you was that same person. But you're not telling everybody that you're the same person. But you can look down in your heart and see that, hey, I was there. I was one of those people. You know, and they said he was just doing marijuana. He probably had the munchies and going to get something to drink and something to eat because, you know, marijuana gives you a munchie. So, we all know he was going to get some Skittles or something to drink. So it wasn't too bad. Because everybody know when you're on cocaine and dope and everything else, you're not going to get anything else but that hard drug. You're not trying to do, you know, so we don't have to throw the book at people because they're on drugs. All we got to do is lend out our hands and to help. And we want to help them. Because they're in need, they're crying for help. And if we turn our back on the person when you need them, then what good are we?
That's right.
I love you all. Like I before, y'all have my heart. Y'all have my soul.
202-514-4609. What's that the number of? That's the number of the Department of Justice, Civil Rights Division, and we're going to call them, all of us, we're all going to call them on Monday. For what?
Justice.
For who?
Trayvon.
For what?
Justice.
For who?
Trayvon.
For what?
Justice.
For who?
Trayvon.
When?
Now.
Monday.
That number.
And Monday.
Again. And Monday. And up next we got Gregory Lucero, of whom I humbly bow this megaphone to.
Speak love loudly and drown out the hate.
All right, great. Woo. Broke it already, man.
Never use it.
All right. Is it just on? Okay, it's just on. So let me tell you a very uncomfortable message, and I'll start by telling you a little bit about who I am. Who I am not is a student of post-structural French philosophy. Who I'm not is a lover of Western films. Who I'm not is a good friend and family member. What I am is a spick. And any time the racist police or vigilantes are out on the street, that's all I am. It doesn't matter that I'm a political commentator. It doesn't matter that I have friends and family. It doesn't matter that I have people who love and care about me. All they see is the brown skin and the long hair. And in the end, I'm just another speck. Trayvon Martin was a young man, beloved by his friends and family, with a promising life. But on those dark streets of Florida, he, like too many other young men, was nothing more than a nigger. Hear that word. Hear the anger and violence that it entails. How many black men have heard that word before their lives were tragically cut short? How many black men have heard that uttered by the police, the security guard, the prison warden, that meant a shooting, a beating, or life in the U.S. criminal justice system? But for George Zimmerman, there is no justice. For George Zimmerman, America and the entire legal system has said what it has always said, which is it is okay to lynch a black man. And what we are seeing now is nothing more than a modern-day lynching. And we should be as disgusted today as they were 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 years ago, where you could hang a black man for talking to white women, being where they weren't supposed to be, or perhaps just not showing you proper deference on the street. And I, for one, say, no more.
No more! Yeah!
what I'm asking you to do is not something abstract. I am not asking for a new world philosophy. What I am asking for is justice for Trayvon Martin.
Trayvon Martin.
Justice for Trayvon Martin. Justice for Trayvon Martin. Justice
For Trayvon Martin.
Justice
For Trayvon Martin.
Justice
For Trayvon Martin.
Justice
For Trayvon Martin.
Justice.
For Trayvon Martin.
Thank you. So, how are we going to get that? The Department of Justice is already investigating this case, and it's not because they wanted to, right? When George Zimmerman murdered Trayvon Martin, you know what the police did? They shook his hand and let him go.
Ooh.
Only people like you in Florida and across this country that made them even file charges in the first place.
That's right.
People like you standing for justice. And then we saw the joke of a trial.
Oh, big deal.
The lawyers, including the prosecutor, agreed not to discuss racism at any point in the trial. At what point is the murder of Trayvon Martin not about racism? And so we see the prosecutor giving her press conference on failing to convict George Zimmerman. At any other time, a prosecutor would be beside themselves, angry at not having convicted someone, whether innocent or guilty. And yet, what was she? She was all smiles and grins and jokes. Why? Because it's still legal to lynch a black man in America. And she was part of that, and she proved that.
Yes.
So now, we are calling on the Department of Justice. You'll notice our esteemed President, Barack Obama, now says, I would have been Trayvon Martin 35 years ago. He didn't say that when Trayvon Martin was murdered.
Oh, yes, he did.
He didn't say that when Trayvon Martin was arrested.
Yes, he did.
He did not put the Department of Justice on this case. He did not demand justice for Trayvon. What he gave is a mealy-mouthed statement that maybe we should have calm and peace, and that's what he said. When Martin Luther King Jr. was killed, there were riots. When Malcolm X was killed, there were riots.
That's right.
But now what we have is we have everyone talking about the tragedy of Trayvon Martin. I am not interested in the tragedy. What I'm interested is in justice. So now, we have the Department of Justice. Originally, Zimmerman was going to get his gun back. Now he can't have it. Why? Because the Department of Justice has heard your outrage.
That's right.
Has heard your protests, and is now starting a precursory investigation. But is that enough for you?
No.
No. What do we need?
Jail for
What do we
Zimmerman.
need it for?
Trayvon.
So this is what you need to do. Demand justice for Trayvon. Demand the Department of Justice begin a full investigation into the civil rights violation perpetrated by George Zimmerman, by Florida, and the entire legal system. There's an old symbol that was much more popular, and I hope it will come back. It was a symbol in the civil rights. And it was not a symbol of peace. It was not a symbol of subservience. It was a symbol of power. It was a symbol of strength. It was a symbol of justice. And for just 1 minute, I want you to join me and remember how many fighters, men and women in the civil rights, held their fists up in the air against injustice, against hypocrisy, and in power. So thank you very much.
Yes.
Justice
For Trayvon Martin.
Justice
For Trayvon Martin.
Justice
For For Trayvon Martin.
Justice!
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 For Trayvon Martin.
That number again is 202 514 4609. You're gonna sit there for about 5 minutes, maybe a few seconds, and then they're gonna ask you, push 1 for this, push 2 for this, push 3 for this. You're gonna push 3. I know this because I called it today, and I know. You're gonna push 3, and then you're gonna express your anger, you're gonna express your passion. You are gonna call for justice. Justice for who?
Trayvon Martin.
Justice for who?
Trayvon Martin.
Justice for who?
Trayvon Martin.
Justice for Trayvon Martin. You're gonna tell them, and you're gonna tell them that it's hot, and I'm mad, and I'm thirsty, I'm sweating, and I'm passionate, I'm angry, and I want justice. I want justice for Trayvon Martin. I want George Zimmerman behind bars, where I belong. We're racist aggressors, we're criminals, where they belong, where George Zimmerman belongs.
That's right.
In jail, we're gonna put him there.
In jail.
Murder! That's where they go. Justice for who?
Trayvon.
No justice?
No peace.
No justice?
No peace.
No justice?
No peace.
No justice!
No peace.
No justice!
No peace.
Justice for Trayvon. Justice for everyone. Justice for Trayvon. Justice for everyone. Justice for Trayvon. Justice for everyone. I want to make this clear to you. We're not here just to be mad. Just to tell the world that we're upset and that we wish things had happened differently. We don't wish, we do. And how are we going to do? We're going to do by calling the Department of Justice. We're going to tell them what they need to do. And they're going to listen because we won't stop. We won't stop until he's behind bars.
That's
We'll
right.
occupy every federal building. We'll occupy every capitol. We are. We're doing it right now. And we're going to tell them, we're going to shout in their face till they bend down. Till they bend down in subservience to the people's call, to the people's will, for justice, for Trayvon Martin, for his memory, which has been dragged through the mud by people, by racists, by the media. We will not stop till we get justice for Trayvon Martin. You're going to call that number on Monday. You're going to call it because you care. You're going to call it because you don't want this to happen again. You're going to call it because you want justice for Trayvon Martin. Justice
For Trayvon Martin.
Justice!
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 For Trayvon Martin.